Many thanks again for staying with us on TMI on the ITV network this lovely Monday morning. Well, the Edo State governorship election comes up on the 21st of September 2024. That's no longer news, but what is news are some of the things that are happening on the road to that day. Yesterday, some members of the PDP led by the former senator, Edo South Senatorial District, Senator Matthew Rohide, defected to the APC. And the reasons for that defection, according to Senator Matthew Rohide, he wants to be a part of a group where maturity is the order of the day. We also saw former governor of Edo State, who is now the leader of the party in the state, Comrade Adam Saliu Shumale, apologizing to Senator Matthew Rohide for whatever he did to him while they were together. Senator Rohide said he's coming back to the APC, is homecoming from him. For him. For some analysts, this is a tradition for politicians to move from one political party to another, particularly in a year where we have an election. It's a common practice across the country, but how healthy is this for democracy? Again, you look at the circumstances and the situation they may have triggered such a defection. That will be a major talking point in the next couple of minutes. Also, earlier last week, we also saw the Labour Party candidate, Barrister Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata, exiting from the University of Benin, where he was supposed to be part of a major event. From the report that we gathered, some guys came and made the place uncomfortable for him, and he left. He gave a video, he did a video where he made some allegations, even though it wasn't specific on who was responsible for what transpired at the University of Benin. We'll be looking at all of these dispassionately in the next couple of minutes. Let me welcome our panelist, Barrister Matthew Adagase, is a public affairs commentator. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me too.
We also have with us Bishop Austin Igbasan, is a regular on the show and also a public affairs commentator. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
We have with us as well Idris Zakari, also a political analyst. Many thanks for joining us, Idris.
Thank you very much. It's always a delight to share this platform with you, sir.
Okay, let me start with you, Idris. When we have the opportunity to choose leadership like we have in Edo State in the forthcoming election, it's always an opportunity that the voters look forward to make a decision on who will govern them. In this case, after the administration of His Excellency Godwin Noregase Obaseki ends. In your opinion, what are the issues shaping some of the things that are happening already as far as this election is concerned?
Majorly, I think we are taking stock. Citizens of Edo State are taking stock of the last 8 years. And we measure that in deciding who will lead Edo State going forward. We are taking stock in education, we are taking stock in health, we are taking stock in poverty index. You know, there's the one that is very, very important. I've been around the state in the last 3 weeks, and I can tell you that nobody is mostly talking about infrastructure. People are hungry. You know, price of things, they'll tell you the price of items are high. People, I didn't know, I don't used to buy rice in cup. I now know that a cup of rice costs 500. I didn't know before. You know, when you buy in small batch, you don't know how much the people at the lower rung of the ladder pay to buy just a cup of rice for 500. That cannot feed a family of 4. Maybe you need 4 of that, 2,000. In a country where the minimum wage is 30,000, it then means that somebody earning the minimum wage cannot even live in our state. This is the bitter truth, unless you have some other sources where you get your money for that are not known to law. So I think it's a stock-taking ceremony for us. It is a reflection on the past 8 years, where we were, and where we are right now. If we've made progress, if we've not made so much progress. And these are some of the factors, these are some of the conversations that we decide. And again, there's a huge disconnect in my movement across the state. There's a huge disconnect between those who live here in the city, here in Benin City, and those who live in the hinterland. When you go to the hinterland, it seems that they do not even believe that government exists. And I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. When you go to the villages, when you go to Ubiaja, when you go to Ira, when you go to the interiors, when you go to Ewohimi, down inside the villages and the surrounding adjoining villages, they do not even know that government exists. When you go to Afuze, when you go to Irako, when you are asking them, what do you think of government, they look at you as if you are speaking Latin. In fact, Latin is even understandable for Catholics. They look as if you are speaking French. So I think this is some of the things that will decide. And I'm afraid that our people are not so impoverished that money will decide the next election. Because honestly, people are hungry. I am afraid that money, because weaponization of poverty is now a political tool in our country. People are so poor that when you throw things at them now, they just take it and then they do what you tell them to do. A hungry man has no choice. So when people are hungry and you throw things at them, they decide based on what you have thrown at them. I hope that the poverty will not be weaponized. And that's why I'm calling on NFIU, National Financial Intelligence Unit, and the EFCC to make sure that we reduce the effect of money. Let the choices we make in September be a reflection of the true thinking and wishes of the people. If you are hungry, vote with hunger and anger. Yes. If you are well fed, vote with your belly full. If you are well informed, if your children are well educated in public school, vote based on that. If your roads are smooth, vote based on that. If erosion is in front of your house, vote based on that. If your road to your house is smooth, vote based on that. Those are some of the deciding factors.
All right, Bishop Igbasa, do you share in these sentiments?
Definitely, I won't shift from what he has said. The issue of economy and where we have found our people will decide definitely where the pendulum of this election. This election is going to go beyond the English speaking or bringing grammar on board. It is going to be more practical, how the people are connected with the situation and the government. Now, there is a lot of disconnection between the people and the government. Even you see that there are people that they tar the road in the front of their house, yet they are not excited. It shows you the level of disconnection, because the people are beginning to look at it, this thing that is happening, what bearing does it have in our life? What is the connection of this? You can see that, like I said, there are steps that are taken by other states when we have this kind of issue. One of those steps is to cut your tax by 50%, because that one goes down to the people that are working, the labor forces that, I'm not talking of Nigeria Labour Congress, but I'm talking about the labor forces, people that have little business. By the time you reduce their tax, there was a king in the Bible that when he was enthroned, they came to meet him. They said, your father give us too much body. Please lessen it by 50%. He said, give me 7 days. And he went to consult with 2 groups of people. The young man said, add to it. The old man said, reduce and the people will serve you. But the man was adamant, and he came back on the 7th day and told them that my father flogged you with cane, I will use scorpion to flog you. And the people took decision. I expected that by now, there are states today that have a special market where the poor people goes once in a week to go and buy something, and it's really alleviated. I have seen federal government gave money to states for hunger, and people are setting committee for 3 months. I don't know how a hungry man today, from Monday can bear it till Saturday. When you put money in a commercial bank and you set a committee to be discussing how that money that is meant for hungry people, these are few things. There are few things that can be done. We can call bakers and tell them how much is the increase in your flour. I want to put so amount into it. If it is increased by 1,000, I'm giving you 800. Buy this flour in so place. I'm paying 800. So I want the price to go to this amount go to this former price. It will go around everybody. You talk to Tukwe driver and bring them together. What is making the prices of transport to go up? They say it is because of the amount you buy fuel. Okay, well, tickets and other things, you drop them down, and you also pay a filling station and say, go there and buy fuel at 200. I am subsidizing it personally from my state account so that everybody goes in there and go and get their fuel. Then you monitor every pack. Go back to the former price. Either rainfall or not, it goes around the people. These are things that touches the people. I don't know how you set up a committee for people that are hungry, and it will take 3 months to discuss about how they will deal with the hunger. How many of them will still be alive after that 3 months? So these are issues, because
People are dying of hunger. People are frustrated. Families are, and you see things that are not touching the people. Even though if you tar the road of people that are hungry, what is that tarring of the road going to do to their stomach? Is it not somebody that has strength that walk on roads? And these are things that are, we can't expect a president from Abuja to come and share the money meant for hungry people. If it has been sent down, I think that by now we should be talking of invading Aduawa market. How much is the bag of tomato? I subsidize with so amount. Everybody go in there, go and get it in that place and put some people to monitor it. These are things that touches the people.
Okay.
So definitely English is not going to work in this election. Sugar-coated mouth is not going to work in this election. Tribal sentiment is not going to work in this election. And bamboozling people is not going to work in this election. I think that the touch on the lives of people, I discussed with driver. Some of them told me, I need them in workshop. They said, see how much we are paying on the road over this little vehicle. Some of them take this vehicle on balance and carry. And they are paying tax that are so heavy on them. These are things we can take. It's not a rocket science.
Okay.
We can reduce it at the burden of the people. Even in Lagos, Lagos State Governor became a barber. He became an usher in the church. He was in Computer Village. There are things that was done that time. Even they released the vehicle of people that were impounded because they felt that some of the policy has a negative effect on the people and it will affect the outcome of the election. So I think that the direction every right-thinking government should go is that you cannot kill the people you want to govern. And you cannot drag, if you take them to the river, you can't put pumping machine in their mouth to be able to sip in the water that is not, is a vinegar to them.
All right, thank you, Bishop Austin Igbansa. Pastor Matthew Edegesa, you've been listening quietly, and I believe you've been following events as they unfold in the build-up to the governorship election, election day 21st of September. What are your thoughts on some of the things that are defining the decision-making process of the electorate?
The electorate's mind is like the Shakespearean mind, when say there's no arts. You know, really the mind's construction on the face. Only the electorate know how they will behave on the day of election, especially the Nigerian electorate. They are highly unpredictable. If we sit here and think hardship will determine how people will vote, we might be dead wrong. If we sit here and say money will play a pivotal role, we might be very correct. If we also sit here and say people will vote along the line of sentiment, we might also be correct. So many factors will play out on how the way and manner people will cast their ballots come September 22nd. We are able to do this projection based on past experiences. The Nigerian electorate behave like the Roman mob. They go with the tide. And you never know the kind of tide they will swim with until the election day proper.
So what are those tides, in your opinion, prevalent at the moment?
It's difficult to say. We can only set an agenda as people who are influencers. We would have expected ordinarily that people should vote in the direction of their aspiration, what they want their life to be. But that is an ideal. And Nigerians are not known to toe the path of ideal. Sentiment plays a bigger role. And the stomach infrastructure thing has become a very major decider in our electoral decision making among the electorate. When politicians are maize wet, keeping it and stockpiling it for deployment to capture votes, it has always worked for them. That is why no matter how ideal somebody is, an aspirant is, it's not considered serious until he has a war chest of serious money. They will ask you, are you sure you are ready? So that question is pregnant with meaning. How can you be asking somebody who said he wants to lead you and he has told you this is the direction he wants to take you to? What kind of preparedness are you asking for again? It is the financial preparedness, not the money to run the campaign, but the money to throw around. And those who have so much money to throw around, no matter the history of how they make the money, it's of no moment to the average Nigerian voter that you have the money, even if it is dripping with blood stain. It doesn't really matter to them. provided you have the money to throw around. This is a major challenge in our electoral growth and development.
Thank you very much. Let's just scale up our conversation a little bit as we look at some of the major events that that occurred in the build-up to the election just yesterday, and I think on Friday. First, it was the Labour Party governorship candidate who was, were made to understand, had to escape from the University of Benin, where he was supposed to attend a function. And the feedback was that some guys came and said he wasn't permitted to be at the event where he was. The question has been on the lips of many. Those guys who came and said, Lumide Akpata, he wasn't supposed to, he didn't seek permission before being in the University of Benin. Was he supposed to seek permission from the SUG, Uniben, or from the management of the school? Who was he supposed to seek permission from? And then he went ahead to respond to that incident by pointing fingers, even though he wasn't specific about those he claimed were responsible for that incident. But let me get your view on this incident as it has happened. We always have this scenario play out in an election here where candidates are being attacked in one way or the other.
When we send our kids to school, we send them to school to become smarter, not to become dumber. I was a University of Benin student. 10 years ago, I graduated and I was a student leader in my own right. And there's no way I can condone without condemning in totality what has happened in the University of Benin. The material particulars of the issue is that the Labour Party candidate went to the university to meet, to have a tete-a-tete with the senior staff association of that university. The senior staff association, for context, is the most senior of the staff of that university. Professors, doctors, and lecturers. Senior lecturers in their own right. And they were having it at their own club. What is, popularly called the OG Oshodi Pavilion. They named that place after the legendary former Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Osayuki Godwin Oshodi. And then for individuals to come and, allege that whoever comes to the senior staff invited somebody, needs to take permission from the student. That is not the kind of union that we ran when we were in school. And that is why I must condemn that in totality. It is like the worshippers asking the worshipped to take permission from them. It's like the children asking the father to take permission from them for him to welcome somebody to his own house. We are talking of lecturers here. Look, I'm a young person and I do a lot with the students. You are very much aware that I am very close to the student union. But there's no way I can sit here and pretend that what has happened is tolerable in any form. And again, I don't even want to believe that the people who did this can accept that they are student leaders. No. That is not the way we were trained. That's not the way it was done. When I was in the university, I did not know the location of the senior staff club. I had no business with the senior staff club. My business was with June 12th, where the student union is, and then all other places where students sit down in the university. I don't have any business with staff. Because if we do not condemn this, one day people will go to the office of the vice chancellor and claim that the vice chancellor did not take permission from them before he invited anybody. People go to visit the vice chancellor all the time. So that people have come to visit your senior staff, there's no sin in that, in my own mind. Now, and I also do not believe that they did that in their own accord. The Labour Party candidate has made allegations. But let us just take a look at the press release of the Edo State government. If you can put it up, I read quickly. Edo State government condemns clash between LP candidate Akpata without his full initial and Uniben SUG. The Edo State government condemns in the strongest term the violence associated with Labour Party candidate Mr. Olumide Akpata visit to the University of Benin on April the 12th, 2024. Claims and counter-claims. This is a state government, press release have been made by Akpata and the student union government of the university. In statement issued by both parties on April 13, active investigation is ongoing, and the Edo State government, however, warns in the strongest term that it will not tolerate violence in any sort of irresponsible behavior which was associated with the visit of Mr. Akpata. Take note, Akpata has been mentioned 4 times in a statement that has 4 paragraphs.
Yes, and then this passage.
And the last part says, government has the primary responsibility to ensure the security of lives and property in the state, and we spare no effort to ensure that anyone that breaches the peace, no matter how highly placed, in reference to Akpata again, will face the full wrath of the law. We hereby call on all Edo citizens to go about their lawful businesses without let, as relevant security agencies are making progress in their investigation. This statement was signed by the same man who said the deputy governor must take permission from him to get pressmen, Honorable Chris Nekari.
That's the Honorable Commissioner for Information, for Communication.
And Orientation. Yes. Now, this is, if you are looking for not security issues in those states, I was in Uromi, and they told me that there are roads in Esan land that they no longer pass. It's like they have a conversation with kidnappers that this road don't pass here, only pass here. These people don't know. They will not go and bother themselves with that. They are playing petty politics in Benin. That somebody has gone to a school to talk to senior staff.
It was just a moment. For this statement here, this statement credited to Edo State government through the Honorable Commissioner for Communication and Orientation clearly condemns that incident at the University of Benin with the assurance that they will not tolerate any attack on anyone, particularly the person of Olumide Akpata.
You didn't read it, boy. They didn't say they will not tolerate. They said they will not tolerate violence of any sort.
Of course. That refers
associated with the visit of Olumide Akpata.
Yes. It's there. So we are saying the same thing. So the bottom line is that the government has condemned this act and are promised to ensure there is adequate security while urging the citizens to be law-abiding and eschew any action or activities that will undermine this whole process.
In addition to condemning, there's one thing they also did.
Yes.
Is that there are parties in this matter. The students' union, the senior staff, the police.
Yeah.
Because Akpata is not a policeman.
Okay.
It is purported that the fracas was between students and lecturers on one hand, then students and police on the other hand. But they mentioned Akpata 4 times. This is pure politics.
Okay. All right, Bishop, let me get your take on this matter.
I think is very clear, but it's just one of the painful part of it is that I feel that we have to advance beyond this petty politics of
using people behind closed door to do some things. I feel that there is no flame without fire. Anywhere you see flame, there is always fire. And I think that, to me, this statement that is credited is very watery. It's very watery, and when you x-ray this particular message, it does not hold a very strong water, especially against those who are perpetrating this act. But we just saw name of the person involved. I believe that we have to get to a level where our politics must be that let's look at the person, let us look at content, let us look at antecedent, and we should not get to a level of being afraid of one person or the other, because it is the electorate at the end of the day that will decide who is going to govern them. And I think that you don't bring down a roof because you want to be a chief in that house. Bringing down a roof is not going to make people have a conducive atmosphere to be able to rule the house. But I know that politicians don't think that way. They have their way of thinking that, okay, you need to embarrass anybody you feel is a political threat to maybe your candidate. You need to begin to do some things to make sure that we saw it in the presidential election, where the policies were brought into place because of only one man, and the policies were enforced, even though many people suffered because of that policy. All of us knew why the policy was in place, but the government of the day then was telling everybody that they are looking for sanity. It is not because they are attacking one person. A lot of people, I had an uncle that died on the issue of Naira note and the rest of them. They only told him that the time has expired. And his BP rose up, and that's how before they took him to hospital, the man died. Not even though that there's going to be an extension of date. That one was targeted at a man. It was a political policy that was set up by a man who felt that I don't want this man to become a president. He will be a threat to me. Okay. Now, the man decided to bring it forth. That's how politicians do their things. When they are doing it, they begin to give us English left and right, front and back. And today we are able to see, even at the end of the day, that that policy that was targeted at that man failed eventually. And those policies are reversed. But lives that were lost cannot be brought back. Destiny that have been destroyed cannot be brought back. A lot of people through that particular policy eventually have terminal disease that they are nursing now. They didn't die, but they become a patient of a terminal disease as a result of that policy. And I felt that, to me, like I said, Barrister Olumide Akpata is a fantastic candidate. I'm not a politician. But if out of all the people that are on board, if there's anybody you need to say maybe somebody should be afraid of, if it is intelligence, if it is somebody that is factual, we saw his work when he was NBA chairman in the days of the what I'm saying is that I'm not campaigning, but I'm just telling you that if there is a factor like that.
These are your personal perspective. I'll pause you there, Bishop. Here, Pastor Matthew, is this over politicization of the incident that happened at the University of Benin with the Labour Party candidate? Is this issue being over politicized, or was it over politicized?
The incident itself is political, and the incident that led to the incident is also political. The visit is a political visit. It's not a research visit. So nobody should try to run away from the reality that everything was political from the beginning, and to the end it's also political.
Okay.
So it's politics, whichever either way. The visit is political. The reaction is political. The after reaction is also political. It's political season. Whether it was properly managed or mismanaged is the issue we should look at. First, I disagree with the fact that students have no part to play in the visit of political figure to a campus. They are the real stakeholders. I was once a student and an activist for that matter. No politician, political figure will dare set his foot on our university campus and say we have no say or we have no part to play in his own visit or his presence, we should be excused.
But the visit wasn't for students. This particular visit, this visit that is a bone of contention now, based on the aftermath, it wasn't for students.
When Obasanjo visited AAU during his days as a president, we said he shouldn't come. We were students because we were not happy with his policies. Because we are the real stakeholders. We are the vanguard of the society. He came with a lot of military might and all of that. But at the end of the day, he was thrown out of the campus. Students must accept your entrance into their territory. It is their space. The visit can be overwhelmed if he's strong-headed and accept the visit of somebody that the students do not want to see. Arisha Kola has his fair share during the Abacha era. He escaped lynching, not only by students. Students are not to be undermined in a university environment or in a school environment, even secondary school. If they say they don't want, I tell you, they don't want. And if they say they want to participate in the whole thing, you have to negotiate it. You don't wish them away and say it will be of no consequence. There shall be consequence. There will always be consequence in any part of the world. That is why in the US, when a candidate is going to visit the campus, it's basically going to meet with the students and interface with them. When you bypass the students and say you want to see the staff, can there be staff without student population? Staff are employed. Student population is the base of the university, the real base, the foundation. If there are no students, you don't need staff. So the SUG leadership, that is the ruling body, the governing body of the student population, and they are the major stakeholder in campus. If you embarrass them, you are by extension undermining the reputation and integrity of the university campus, represented by the student, they will react in the way students normally react. It will not be in a polite manner. I was surprised that police used live bullets to the extent of shooting one of the students on his leg. That is an aberration. That is enough to escalate the crisis to a level of mayhem. During my day at university at Tekuma, if that happens, nobody can tell how that fire will not become a wildfire. You come to my campus and shoot a student, and you think you have not declared war. That is the declaration of war already. I'm very happy or relieved that the student of Uniben did not react to that extreme provocation.
But you don't have...
I read it in the news.
the flip side on the circumstances that led to the shooting.
No circumstance will allow you to use live bullets in a university campus on students. You have tear gas. You have pepper spray. You have water. You don't use live bullets like that anywhere in the world. It's not a war situation where they're exchanging fire. If they were rowdy, then you now open fire. That we should discourage such a tendency in our society. Any little thing, you bring out arms and begin to shoot. You don't use arms like that in civilized world. If you do, you will pay dearly for it. The authority will come back. You have to explain why you have to use live bullets. Crowd control, live bullet use is not part of it.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. All right.
So in any case,
yes,
I expected the visitors, upon the demand by the student that they want to be part of that ceremony, they should have made allowance for their involvement. Give them seats. It's not an occultic meeting. You can come and see what we are doing. There's no secrecy in politics. When you now come out to want to reach out to people, you're already in the public space. There should be no secrecy. Students are part of those who will vote. They want to hear from you. They want to know why you are here. What? Are you here for, were you there for some ulterior motive? If you want support, are you going to restrict or limit the support to the staff? I think it was wrong to say the student must not have access because it is for the elders.
Okay. All right.
It's not a village square.
This is a different dimension to this conversation.
I think there are a lot of factual, I'm trying to pick my words. There are a lot of factual incorrectness in the position of my elder brother.
Some of my positions, what I read.
Yes.
I wasn't there.
What you read can be wrong. It's possible.
Until they
can
prove it
be
wrong.
sensationalized. As we speak, a senior lecturer in the University of Benin is in hospital.
Over this incident?
UBTHS.
And the student was also shot.
There's no evidence to prove that.
No,
I watched the video.
There's a medical doctor told me about this yesterday. In fact, the student was rushed to his clinic for medical attention.
The student I saw had an injury on his leg and claimed to have been shot twice. If you are shot twice with an AK-47 on your leg, that leg will cease to exist.
Okay, but he was injured.
He was injured.
Okay.
Yes. So there's no doubt about that. But my concern is if things can degenerate to the extent that students are now fighting lecturers in the senior staff club of a university, we should be, all reasonable people should be very concerned. And look, we cannot add fuel to fire by saying, oh, nobody has the right to go to the university. I go to the university every day. I am no longer a student. There are the school of 1996 is not the school of 2024.
Absolutely.
There are a lot that goes on in the university. There are churches in the university. There is a gym in the university. There are people who come there for research. There are people who come there to shoot music videos. And in this large expanse of land, a lot of things happen in the university environment.
You don't seek permission from students?
No, you don't necessarily, especially, look, I'm not saying, the student body is not the management of the university. Look, give the student body their respect. We did protest in the University of Benin. We blocked Ugbo Lagos Road. But usually you have to do with things that involve school fees, things that involve the quality of life in our hostels, things that involve a student being oppressed either by an outsider, by a bus driver, or any of those were the things that will usually spark protest. And then with continuous engagement with university authority. Now let's situate the issues. This same interactive session, I don't speak for the senior staff, I'm not a staff of the university. This same interactive session between the senior staff, professors and doctors, took place with the PDP candidates. It was seamless. There was no incidents. It was built to also take place. This same thing we are talking about, Benson, the Hausa University is doing the same. Staff of the university are talking to candidates. The students have their own platform, and as he rightly said, the students have the population. When we want to talk to anybody that time, we use the auditorium.
Okay.
So we gather thousands of people and we talk. It's different from when the university professors, of course, the professors cannot come and join us in our program. The same way I do not, as a student, want to go and join the professor in their program. Because what bothers them is not what bothers me.
Okay.
And what bothers me is not what bothers them.
Okay.
Every well-meaning, right-thinking individual should condemn this action. In my mind, they have I spoke with some of the student leaders, and they told me that they believed that some students were in the senior staff club. That's why they went there. To say, why did you bring our students without informing us? You see, that in itself is faulty.
Okay.
I am telling you from source. I am close to the university environment.
Okay.
So we do condemn.
Okay.
And we urge the security agents to do a thorough investigation.
All right, to bring this matter to rest.
Yes, to bring the matter. And then going forward, I would encourage, because this is important, that the Labour Party candidate should, before now, I know efforts have been made, interacted with the student, have a working relationship with the student.
So you're coming back to the points that he raised a while ago.
I must condemn what is wrong first.
I agree. But then you're coming back to the point that he raised.
Yes, before we go
so it looks like that engagement wasn't there ab initio.
The engagement wasn't there ab initio. But to go to a meeting of lecturers and anybody, it could be anybody.
All right, Idris, let me
and
question.
Then the lecturer is almost in coma. There's no way that can be tolerated.
All right.
Today, I was once a student. The person who is leading the student today, tomorrow might be a lecturer. And if they do it to him, he will now realize how wrong it was when he did it many years ago.
All right, Bishop, let me get your take on another issue, which is something we need to quickly look at before we call it a wrap. The defection that was seen from the PDP to the APC in the build-up to the September election. This is normal routine, but is this normal considering the caliber of people who were part of that defection?
It is not supposed to be normal. There are, I think there are a few things that leads to people, politicians leaving party. Number one is ambition. Number two is selfishness. Number three is irreconcilable differences. I think these three things also lead to it. Now, the way a party is being managed also can lead to people defecting. And when we look at it, all these people that defected, some of us who have been around for a while, we knew that it will get to this point where these people will defect. Because in every house, there is crisis. But the way the crisis is managed made people to sit back in that house and said, this is my house, I don't have anywhere going. I think in the history of this state now, for now, all our past governors, it is only Chief Lucky Igbenedon that has not had the history of defecting. All the former governors have moved from one party to another at one point or the other. Comrade Amso Shomole moved from one party to another. Professor Osarebe Osubo has moved front and back severally. So it is something that politicians see. They see a political party as a vehicle that takes you to where you are going. Either it is Toyota Camry or Pajero. All what they wanted is that let me just get to where I'm going to. And definitely in a house, when there are crises, our present governor in Edo State today defected. So he defected, and he was given a vehicle at the 11th hour by the owners of the vehicle. Say, okay, use this vehicle to cross to where you are going to. But in the end of the day, the way the party is being managed led to people to defect. I don't want at all time for us to condemn that politicians is their side to move up and down. There are things that always lead to people moving from one party to another. Like the present state governor now, he tried to manage the affair with APC at that time. At the 11th hour, I know there was a time he went to see Mr. President that he was not granted audience,
when people were expecting him to even leave the party, but I think he was mediating to their 11th hour, and that one makes the other people to say, okay, come in, we know. And for sure, all of us know that if PDP did not give the political platform to Governor Obaseki, he can never be governor for the second time. There is no magic, there is no miracle about it, because there is no mushroom party at that time that can accommodate, that has a widespread within the state.
Okay.
So that was the best option for him at that 11th hour. So, but it is because of ambition and also irreconcilable differences that was there. So if I thought the way this PDP was managed also led, let us not always allege that those who defected, they have the mindset of they are not going to sit at home, they are not going to sit in this party. We must look at the situations that warrant them.
All right, let me talk to Pastor Matthew. Could you share your thought with us on this defection before we call it a wrap?
Defection has become a yearly political ritual among the Nigerian political elites. And again, it is encouraged by the very fact that there are no political ideologies associated with all the political parties. They are just political organizations. In the real sense of political party formation, they did not evolve from any known ideology. That is why it's easy for one man to move from party A to party Z without looking back. Because it's like a uniform style building in an estate. If you move into any apartment, the same features, everything. So you fit in, you don't acclimatize. You just move in, it's a bedroom pattern. So it's easy to relocate.
Okay.
So you don't feel like a stranger when you enter any of the political parties. Because when you are leaving behind, you meet you there. So that is the way it is programmed.
All right. All right.
So Nigerian political environment encourage defection. And the attitude of the political class also is a motivating factor.
For defection?
Yeah, for defection. In fact, defection is a sign of political, advancement in the mind of so many politicians. The way and manner they are receiving to the other party shows that they are even more appreciated than those who stay put.
All right. All right. Idris, a final word on this defection.
You mentioned the one of Chief Senator Matthew Urogide. I think he's one of those who were thoroughly maltreated by the man they welcomed into their party and they gave the party tickets to run in 2020. There are lessons to be learned from there. It's not everybody that is hungry that you feed. Sometimes when you feed them, when they have power, they will feed on you. That's exactly what has happened to him. He was a sitting senator, and then when there were problems in the APC and the governor needed shelter, they welcomed him. Today, they are all victims of the circumstances they themselves created. Himself, Ubede Yama, Chief Danobi, and the legacy PDP has, in fact, the original PDP has today been dismembered. So what we now have are defectees from the APC and busybodies from elsewhere who have now formed what is now today's PDP. I feel very sorry for him. Let him go back home. Let him go and work. They have election to... It's no longer easy. It's now a 3-horse race. It used to be 2-horse race. Now it's not a 3-horse race. Like they say, time is a gentleman. And in the end, we will know if his decision was the right one or the wrong one.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Hope to have you guys here some other time to ventilate your views on EDO 2024.